Joseph Akable joins me for the review. Let's also say hello and welcome to NUK's President Isaac J. Hyde. Good morning. He's joining us via Zoom. Isaac?
Good morning, Mama V.
Good to have you join us. Can I see your face? There you are. Are you still in school?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just thinking if your tenure had not ended, and Echo, my producer, assured me that nah, you're still in school. So I was just checking.
Okay.
Joseph, why?
Oh, I've not said anything.
Okay.
It's good to have the NUK's president. I mean, education was one of the sectors highlighted yesterday.
Exactly.
And the good thing about having a NUK's president, you know, some time ago they had lots of issues, but this time around, it's good that we can have someone to call the NUK's president, that we can both be comfortable to engage. So that is good news. We are glad to have him.
Well, listen, I wanted to ask, because I'm asking our viewers what they remember from yesterday's launch, any of the promises. It may be too early, but maybe something stayed on your mind. So, Isaac J. Hyde, anything you remember?
Well, basically, like Akable said, I think the aspects of education really caught my attention. I mean, the issue of student loan once again popped up, which I think is a good thing. I mean, both parties are paying attention to some of the issues on ground, the scrapping of the guarantors. Then also the promise to extend the free SHS to include the private institutions. Of course, there's also the aspect of ensuring that the Wi-Fi extension services, which is ongoing in the senior high schools, this government, the NDC has also promised that given the mandate, they will equally look at that. There's been aspects of TVET, all receiving mentions. And so generally, I think that these are the things that caught my attention.
Yeah. Joseph?
Yes, I mean, for me, I looked out for the economy because of the COVID issues. They are promising some measures to assist. So they are looking at small-scale enterprises. They'll take off personal income tax and corporate tax. They're taking those taxes off just to ensure that they are able to operate as well. And they are also looking at some medium-scale businesses. They are reducing the tax that they are also supposed to pay by way of the income tax for their staff as well. And so that was a way, but I'm not too sure about how it adds up in terms of revenue, because we're already having revenue shortfalls. And so that is an aspect of the manifesto that I looked out for too.
I was thinking about the 4-month maternity. It was refreshing hearing it, because if you saved your annual leave, then that would be 5 months, which is really significant. Because I remember I left my...
They added 7 days for the men. You didn't hear that one. It didn't catch your attention.
But I'm not even done. Will men take advantage of it? I mean...
they're giving us some 7 days.
Yeah.
It's too small.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hey, okay, that's refreshing to hear. Okay, guys, let's just go into the newspapers. I have the graphic and the New Crusading Guide, but let's start with you, our guest reviewer, Isaac J. Hyde. You do the Statesman and the Ghanaian Times, so let's hear you review the papers you have. Jay?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Can you go ahead with your papers? Okay, let's start and then we'll bring you in. We understand. Joseph?
Yes, so I'll start from the front page of the Daily Guide. I'm looking out for a story on the NDC program. There's none, but it says Nana elected ECOWAS chairman on the front page.
Oh, I see the NDC launches manifesto.
Yeah, that's one line at the top. No photograph, nothing. So I missed that one out. So NDC launches manifesto, one line. Nana elected ECOWAS chairman. And Akufo-Addo has short life like Goatskin. That's attributed to John Mahama. And Achim's plan Mahama demo also on the front page. And CRI calls for early school reopening. And Ghanaians won't fall for NDC tricks and lies. That's coming from the NPP. And so...
you obviously can tell where the paper is coming from, I guess.
The back page has pay Diana stars $120,000 FIFA orders Club African, and spend cash on new recruits. Mbappe wants employers. And that is on the back page of the Daily Guide.
Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper front page banner headline. This is what Joseph missed in the Daily Guide. We have it in the graphic. NDC on rescue mission, according to former President Mahama. And yes, there is a picture, you probably see it, of the former president and his running mates holding up what they launched yesterday. That's the party's manifesto. Their vision for, the next 4 years if they're given the mandate. Also, fund management companies say government approves 3.1 billion Ghana cedis bailouts for customers. President Akufo-Addo elected ECOWAS chairman. Congratulations to him. He takes over from the Niger president. We've had former President Jerry John Rawlings, former President Kufuor, and former President Mahama hold that position. So for the next year, we'll see our president as the ECOWAS chair. Hopefully, there are not a lot of issues that he has to deal with on the continent.
The other question, though, is the timing. The timing, because obviously his tenure will move beyond December 2020. So not too sure what that means, but let's see.
Elizabeth Ohene assumes duty as guest editor Thursday. Watch out for the Thursday's paper. Let's see what happens in the paper. You know that she's been in the middle of a lot of I don't want to say controversy.
She's been fighting the CSOs. That's what it is.
I mean, they've been fighting back as well.
Yeah, they've been fighting back. She's been in a heated banter with the CSOs.
In the center spread of the graphic, government to investigate appropriation of CSIR lands, according to Professor Frimpong Boateng. Polio vaccination begins September 10. Declare September Prostate Awareness Month. That's a call by a medical practitioner and prostate care specialist, Dr. Moses Dogbachi, who suggested that September should be declared Prostate Cancer Awareness Month to sensitize the public, especially men, to the disease. How much do you know of this?
Not very much. I will be very honest. Not very much. I mean.
Yeah, we need. Okay, so let's join the doctor so that we can do more education. On the back page, at Simatim Town Road to receive facelift, and apologies if I didn't pronounce that well. So, a sword cutting ceremony has been performed for the construction of a 9.5-kilometer road in this is a place in Efija Kwabre districts of the Ashanti region. Death toll in Northeast Flats rise to 6. Also on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let's see if Isaac J. Hyde is ready to review. Okay, Joseph, take over.
So we can do the front page of the New Crusading Guide. It says ECOWAS endorses Akufo-Addo, comes along with his photograph, and filmmakers endorse Akufo-Addo for election 2020. And Mahama inciting ethnic groups against the MPP is coming from Mustafa Hamid. And BPPI condemns Achim Mafia comments. And so all stories relating to the MPP on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Yeah.
All right, let's bring Jay Hyde in now. Jay, you've got the Ghanaian Times and you have the Statesman as well. Let's hear if you're ready.
Sure, Mama V. I'm going to review the Daily Statesman, and it states that Akufo-Addo chairs ECOWAS, promises to drive regional integration agenda. Then again, there's a story of Mustafa Hamid, where he says that we have superior governance records. NPP challenges NDC. An issues-based campaign is the interest of the NPP. And of course, the last story being demonstration to hit NDC leader over Achim insult.
There's nothing on the manifesto launch yesterday, at least on the front page of that paper?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And then, of course, at the back of the paper, it says that Ghana's hopes for Jeremy Doku dashed by Belgium. And this has to do with sports. Then reconstruction of Nkoko Sports Complex begins.
Okay. Let's move to the Ghanaian Times.
Sure. In the Ghanaian Times, the Ghanaian Times newspaper reads that vote NDC for bright future. Mahama to Ghanaians at manifesto launch. And then it says that 28 police officers dismissed over professional misconduct. We also have NDC manifesto, empty ritual, says the NPP. 100 passenger cars stranded, routes cut off, Bagri Dam spillage. Then on President Akufo-Addo, it says that President Akufo-Addo elected new ECOWAS chairman at the ongoing 57th ECOWAS summit. basically, this is what it talks on the front page. Then, of course, at the back page, you also have, there's a middle spread.
Yeah, the middle spread has details of those stories on the front page. So let's do the back page of the Times. The story of the spillage of the Bagre Dam, perennial flooding. Government to provide 29.6 million Ghana cedis for long-term solution is on the back page of the Ghanaian Times of that paper that Isaac just reviewed. And then the heavy rains cut off more communities in Northeast region. But let's continue with the Chronicle newspaper. Chronicle front page, Mahama fulfilled only 30% of 2012 manifesto according to the NPP. The illegal activities of Western Togoland promoters stop firefighting approach. Colonel Festus Abuaje retired says government must rather educate the youth on how German Togoland became part of Ghana. Omani Boama on digitization of Ghana's economy. President Akufo-Addo heads ECOWAS. That's how it looks like on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. They've got some sports stories on the back page. To the New Independent, subject us to accountability for Swampofu throws challenge to Ghanaians. And one of the other things that I remember, Joseph and Isaac, if Isaac's connection is stable now, is General Mosquito's panty story, which essentially was saying, think outside the box.
Do you want to summarize the story for those who may have missed?
I think you're better at that.
No, I'm just asking you. I'm
just saying what you don't remember.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. So you want to share the story with us?
I can summarize.
Okay.
They've thought outside the box with the manifesto, essentially.
What has that got to do with the panty?
You have to stay when we do the analysis, the proper analysis of the manifesto right after sport. If you want to hear the panty story, that will come up. But let's do the rest of the stories in the New Independent, at least what's on the front page. Mahama won't apologize for Achim Sakawa Mafia comments, according to Peter Otokno, who also said this to us here on the AM show yesterday. Okay, so this story is actually taken out of our show on JoyNews yesterday as he spoke to us. Achim Mafia comments can incite reprisal attacks. That's the Media Foundation for West Africa warning. And then Efutu NDC's Kofi Annan eats humble pie, apologizes to Winneba Police Commander. It looks like that issue has also come to an amicable end with that apology. Okay, Joseph, do you have other papers?
Yes, I can just touch on this one quickly, the front page. It says NDC to reverse loss on Okada and salvaged cars ban and VAT decoupling, among others. President Akufo-Addo elected ECOWAS chairman. And 2020 election will be fought on records, not tribalism, is coming from Dr. Baumia. NDC rehashed old unfulfilled promises into 2020 manifesto, is coming from the MPP. And 6,300 entrepreneurs seek NEIP funding in 5 Northern Belt regions, also on the front page of the Finder newspaper. Can we do some details now?
Yes, but there's this last paper. I find some questions they're raising interesting. It's called the National Forum, Ghana's First Boldness, Firmness, Fairness. Some questions here. 1, do members of parliament scrutinize and understand documents that appear before them to get passed? Is there no way the minority in parliament can stop the majority when they strongly feel that the high numbers is being abused and used contrary to stated law? Do persons claiming repentance from past deeds or with changed minds repeat the very past acts and retain their claim? How well do speakers on teacher education allowances understand the issues involved with the subjects? Very I was going to say useful questions, but...
Good questions.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I wanted to read. Okay, but let's get into the details of some of the issues.
2 stories, court-related stories. First, Men's Gold.
Yes.
Yeah, so Nana Pia Mensah was arrested long ago. Now the judge is actually raising serious issues because the prosecutors keep coming and saying that they want an adjournment, they want an adjournment, and they want an adjournment. So since last year, the case has not seen any progress. They just go and take an adjournment. And so the judge was raising serious issues about that. The court presided over by Ellen Asamoah requested to know from the prosecutor why they keep asking for an adjournment at every sitting. ASP Asari then told the court that it was because of the nature of the case, as there are about 16,000 complainants involved. The court then adjourned the matter once again to October 1 instead of the October 8, as was requested by the prosecution.
But if you're not ready, why even start?
I mean, I think that is what all the legal experts have been speaking about for many years, that you investigate, then you arrest and prosecute, not arrest, then now investigate and try to make sense of the case before you prosecute.
And waste everybody's time.
That is what is happening in this particular matter. Then the other issue has to do with the Tardy girls, the two individuals who were believed to have caused their death. We are also told that that has also been adjourned once again due to the absence of the defense lawyer. And so this is what, I mean, these are the things that does not make people too happy. This is a matter that by now we should be able to deal with it quickly, but it's also pending. The presiding judge, Justice Richard Ejay Frimpong, took the decision to adjourn the case because the lawyer for the accused persons, Mark Bosia from the Legal Aid Board, who had been cross-examining the witnesses in the case, was absent because he was isolating after his colleague had tested positive for COVID-19.
Okay, that's a special case.
A special case, yeah.
But I was just thinking how frustrating all these things could be for the judges sitting on these cases, especially when ordinary persons don't understand all these legal processes. So they're looking at the judge and they're thinking, oh, it's the judge.
But we should actually...
There she goes again.
But we should actually get to a level where the gentlemen, they are being represented by the legal aid. And so you have one officer who goes and one person is isolating, or maybe 2, 3 people are isolating, and the whole day is wasted. I mean, you have lawyers come from different places, judge coming from home, clerks, registrars all coming, and no work gets done that day.
I get it, but when it comes to COVID-19, I mean, you can't raise too many questions.
That's fair.
So in this case, the judge really doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's COVID. It's a global emergency.
Yeah.
Jay Hyde, you're back with us. Apologies there. There was an issue with your connection, but are there stories of interest, anything that you want to highlight?
I wish I could speak on the president's election as the 57th ECOWAS summit.
Okay.
Except that, I mean, my printout is not so clear, so I can't read from here.
Don't worry, we'll help you out.
Sure. So please, if you could go ahead and read the story for me, I'll help.
Okay, so I'm going to take it from the Daily Graphic newspaper, page 16. It says President Akufo-Addo has been elected chairman of the Economic Community of West African States at the 57th summit of the group in Niger yesterday. The president, who was elected unanimously by his peers for a 1-year term, takes over from President Muhammadu Yusufu of Niger. He is the 4th Ghanaian president and 34th West African head of state to chair the regional body, which was set up by the Treaty of Lagos in 1975 to foster interstate economic and political cooperation. There's a lot more to the story, but Isaac J. Hyde, I guess this is enough.
Yeah, it is, and it comes at an interesting time, especially when elections are very close. I mean, quite recently, one of the issues that have plagued the West African sub-region has to do with issues of terrorism. And then, of course, recently, the issues of trade. I mean, the significance of Ghana now having to host the Africa Free Trade Organization, it's important. And I mean, looking at all the issues we've had with foreign traders, especially with our Nigerian brothers recently, and our president getting elected, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you get to think that, I mean, people are really paying attention to some of the efforts of President Akufo-Addo. Then, of course, one of the major issues which featured in this summit has to do with the regional collaborative efforts in tackling COVID. And looking at what the president has done so far, it tells you that people really commend his efforts. We are hoping that within the next 1 year, I mean, his tenure will be very successful. But just like my brother Akable said, the thinking that went into his election, especially when he has barely 100 days to go into an election, could it be that his colleagues are thinking that, I mean, or have reasons to believe that he will definitely win the elections again? Or what then happens should something happen? But I think that Ghanaians should be proud at this stage that, I mean, our president has gotten elected unanimously by his colleagues in the South region.
So I guess the issue that you're raising, and Joseph also touched on, the fact that if he loses the election in December, then he would be, what, 3 months ECOWAS chair, or maybe less?
Well,
but we don't know how this is going to go, so we're just raising it.
That is what makes it interesting. However, it's more or less an endorsement of his leadership credentials. And maybe indirectly, his colleagues are telling us that they are very sure that the president is going to win the elections. And so we wait to see what happens on 7 December.
Fortunately or unfortunately, his colleagues will not be voting in the election. But the other point that Isaac raises that very worth noting is the part relating to this trade feud that has been brewing. And you know, Nigeria have threatened that we're going to take the matter up to ECOWAS, and now it appears they'll be taking it back to our president who will be leading that. But more importantly, I think it's a time that they need to find some continental resolution to it. I don't get what exactly the Ghanaian position is from what we get from our communication and what we put out when we interacted with the Nigerians. You don't get a sense that government is clear in its mind that it is enforcing the law, it's not enforcing it. And so there is one matter that I think the president, now that he's leading ECOWAS, can take it up, and they should find some common resolution to ensure that what pertains in other countries are able to also pertain here, or the other way around, just to bring an end to this whole issue.
Absolutely. There are some stories in the Ghanaian Times. I did mention right after the AM news about a boy who died after jumping from the second floor of a building. Well, details says residents of Ayiko, which is a suburb of Cape Coast, on Sunday witnessed a ghastly spectacle when a 12-year-old boy jumped from a second-floor apartment to his death. The late Alabi took that decision to escape further punishment from his angry father, the father of the deceased, and his wife, which is the boy's stepmother, had been taken into police custody to assist in investigation. Some residents who were outraged about the death of the little boy demanded that the couple be lynched for maltreating the boy, leading to his untimely death. The timely intervention of the police calmed the situation, which at a point was becoming difficult to contain. People around explained that the boy ran out of the room into the outer balcony and jumped out, critically injuring his head. As a result of the injury, the boy was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead few minutes after. So residents have been explaining some of the things. They said the deceased was staying with his father and stepmother, had been suffering frequent beatings from the father. There's more to the story that you can read, but it's just interesting, the reaction from the resident. And I wonder, I don't want to conclude, if they ever drew the attention of authorities before this incident, because they were really angry after the boy jumped. And that's where the story says they wanted to lynch the couple. But I'm asking myself right now, did they ever attempt to alert the authorities about what was going on in that home? You know, in terms of their neighbor and the boy going through all the sufferings that they now claim.
Very, very sad story there.
Yeah, it is.
You had another about abortion?
Yes, this is a mother who already has 5 children, right? And then she got pregnancy in the 7th month, and then the paper says illegally aborted the 7-month-old pregnancy. This happened here in Accra at Atiko. The suspect, name given, I don't want to mention, was bleeding at the time of her arrest. She's been granted police inquiry bail to attend hospital. The Odoko Divisional Police commander, speaking to the Ghanaian Times, said on September 4, a complainant reported to the police that the woman in the area had aborted her pregnancy and dumped the fetus in a public toilet at Atiko. Commander again says the police went to the area, identified this woman as the culprit, was immediately arrested, and upon interrogation admitted committing the offense. It's a criminal offense, so they're going to be dealing with her. And then, yeah, just on the same page 3, 28 police officers dismissed over professional misconduct. I'll leave the details if you're interested in it. to check it out on page 20. But it's also always refreshing to know that the police is taking some actions against their own persons, and it gives us confidence. Yeah. So yeah, these are the stories of. Have you picked any story?
Yes, I picked 2 stories.
Okay, all right. Let's do myjoyonline.com just before we wrap up. Can we? Okay, whilst we get ready to bring. Okay, there you have it. Joseph, can you help?
Yes, and so there's a banner story there. It says our scrap law banning importation of salvaged vehicles. That is according to Mr. Mahama, the NDC's flag bearer and former president as well. Some other stories here. So you can have a playback of the NDC launching its People's Manifesto, Jobs, Prosperity, and more. And the full document, the NDC's 2020 manifesto ahead of the December 7 post, is also available. And as it happened, NDC launches People's Manifesto 2020, and NDC will extend free senior high school to cover private schools, specifically private schools in underserved areas. And so that is where they are taking that to. Mahama will make corruption a high-risk activities, according to Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader. And NDC will rescue Ghana from the abyss in which it is sinking. That is according to the NDC flag bearer. Yeah.
Joseph is our court correspondent. I'm surprised you didn't touch on the bit about the law school.
Yes.
And how they're opening up, for a lot more people to get access to the professional law education.
Already the debate has started. I've seen a write-up where people are saying this is not the solution to the problem. But I always, like I was telling you yesterday, every solution that is proposed, you look at the problem it is seeking to solve. The problem that is seeking to solve now is that people are not getting access to the professional training.
Yes.
And so that is the immediate problem. There are people who are saying that, okay, the faculties are not good enough. There was a recent report that assessed the faculties. There were some faculties that 10 out of the 18 lecturers, they said were not qualified to actually teach law. And so people are saying that the faculty is the problem. But now we know the immediate problem is that people are not getting access to professional education. And so I think it's a good step that they intend to accredit these same faculties. But then the next line will be that you need to strengthen the faculties to ensure that the good education actually takes place there, so that you don't have big lawyers coming out. And so I think it's a bold step, and it appears from what you see from the NDC manifesto that they did a lot of listening, and it's a reflection of the general problems we are all facing. Implementation will be the next hurdle, and the specifics of the programs.
Absolutely. Isaac J. Hyde, we have to end the review, but thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully we can do this again.
Most definitely. Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Are you guys back in school? Hang on, because we got questions about the tertiary institution.
Not yet. Some selected schools were asked to go back, especially those who couldn't join the learning management systems to finish their examinations. But generally, schools are yet to reopen at the tertiary level.
Okay. All right. NUC's president, Mr. President, thank you for your time. Enjoy the morning and the day.
Thank you very much, Mama, and Akable.
All right. Isaac J. Hyde, right there, the NUC's president. Joseph Akable, Frimpong. Okay, no, I'm not adding Frimpong. Thank you for your company as always.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. We'll bring you sports up next, and then when we come back, we're digesting the NDC's manifesto proper here on the show. And then you can remind us of what stood out for you at the launch yesterday. Stay with us. You're watching the AM Show.